We have breaking news. The Supreme Court has lifted a temporary nationwide injunction that had blocked the Trump administration from banning transgender people from serving in the military. The nation's highest court ruled along party lines 6-3 to reinstate the ban while the litigation continues in lower court. This was one of the first actions taken by the president following the start of his second term. A district court judge blocked the policy, calling it, quote, de facto blanket prohibition on transgender service. The court's 3 liberal judges said they would have kept the policy on hold. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now. She's a professor at Loyola Law School in Los Angeles. Jessica,
I just went live, you asshole. I literally just hit the live button. You're asking, oh, no calls? There's no one that can call in. There's no one watching yet. How can they call in?
Break down this decision for us. What more do we know?
I think you were very clear in the sense of this is about the Supreme Court saying that injunction can be lifted, meaning the ban can be implemented for now. This is not the Supreme Court having heard robust oral arguments, having received briefing. The Supreme Court is not ruling on, in brief, the
When I call you an asshole, it means I like you. You should know that.
merits. The Supreme Court is just ruling on whether or not the ban on the ban, meaning the injunction, could stay in place while this case plays out. And the court here, 6-3, apparently along ideological lines, is saying that that ban can be implemented.
What's up, dude? Look at the trans people being banned from the military.
While the case continues to play out. We should also note that there's another...
We should ban incels from the military too, to be honest. I think incels are a much bigger threat to society than trans people, if we're being honest. Think about it. Incels, can you trust people who are that mad about, like...
case in DC, where a district court judge implemented a preliminary injunction.
That pent-up frustration the incels feel needs to be a national security threat, you know?
And the appellate court in that case, the DC Circuit Court of Appeals, is hearing arguments about whether or not that should become a permanent injunction. So I just want people to know this isn't the final word on this particular executive order.
And so you mentioned as this plays out in the lower court, what does that look like?
So it looks like here...
How do we identify incels? We show a picture of a woman who has arm hair, and we see if the person gets disgusted that a woman has arm hair. If they know that women have arm hair naturally, like all women basically, then they might actually not be an incel. But if they say ew, body hair, then they're definitely an incel.
Hearing arguments on the substance of whether or not it, for instance, violates the Constitution to say that transgender people cannot openly serve in the military. Those who are critical of this executive action have said that that amounts to discrimination that violates the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. Others, like the Trump administration, have argued that transgender members of the military create threats in the military, that they could undermine the ability of the military to do its job.
LOL, dude. LOL. You can have a drunken reject Fox News host do all the shit he's doing, install makeup studios in the Pentagon, but you can't have trans people who want to fight for this country. Kind of crazy. Really crazy, in fact. It's no different at all from Don't Ask, Don't Tell, to be honest. You're just banning gay people.
And that judges owe the executive branch deference when it comes to military decisions.
So there are more than 1.2 million active duty members of the military, according to the Defense Department. A defense official said as of December 9th, there were about 4,200 troops diagnosed with gender dysphoria. The president, Jessica, banned transgender people from serving in the military during his first term. The Supreme Court allowed that to take effect in 2019. The Biden administration reversed that policy. Should we take anything from that precedent from the high court, knowing this is still being litigated?
So yes and no, in the sense that my understanding is that this ban is broader and more extensive than the ban during...
Trans people don't belong in a combat zone. Anyone who can qualify to be in a combat zone should be in a combat zone. Like, there's no reason to think it should be restricted by gender. There should be a universal standards, but if there's a trans person that can do everything that needs to be done, they should be allowed to do it. If you say otherwise, you're like literally extremely brain dead.
the first Trump administration. So it certainly gives us some indication about the court's thinking. Certainly the fact that the court allowed the ban to go into effect by lifting this nationwide.
It's also just stupid. If you think all the military does is Call of Duty missions, like your Modern Warfare 2 Special Op campaign, like you just degrade military members, because the vast majority of the military are not going to be boots on the ground, combat, special ops, freaking Navy SEAL. Like it's there's a lot of jobs in the military, a lot of jobs that keep Americans safe and keep our country stable. A lot of diplomacy, a lot of backroom, just like functioning of the military, a lot of cybersecurity, a lot of engineers. Like there's so many. Like why can a trans person not be an engineer in the military? Like it just.
Injunction gives us some indication of the court's thinking, but it's a very different question as to whether or not an injunction can be lifted versus ruling on the merits. So do we have tea leaves? We do. Do we have a final answer? We don't.
And so you and I have been talking at great length about the difference between the role of Congress and executive action here.
Well, Congress is fake. Executive action is real. That's what. Okay, why is this doing this? Okay, that's a little bit annoying. Okay, do my daily Charlie Kirk video. That's what I need to do. I wouldn't be able to trust the trans. I wouldn't be able to trust that trans in my foxhole. They might not know if they're the enemy or on my side. We'll question the side they're fighting. You are literally, like, I wanted to say the R word, which is really stupid. Which one of these? Teacher explained why he flips parties. Charlie Kirk gets a student to admit the truth on immigration. Charlie Kirk misinformed kids gets educated with the facts about Israel. Trump says he's going to reopen Alcatraz. What the media isn't telling you about Trump. Which one is a good one? Sociology professor learns why people no longer trust the experts. I don't like ones like that because it's going to be really stupid. Okay, fine. Charlie Kirk, sociology professor, learns why people no longer trust the experts.
Folks, let me tell you about my good friend Todd Nettleton from the Voice of my listeners.
He looks like a literal. He looks like he looks like he eats people's skin.
Good friend Todd Nettleton from.
Bro, he looks like a demon that eats people's skin, dude. Holy crap.
The persecution. You can get or call 844-46.
Yeah. When faith is forbidden, 40 days on the front lines with persecuted Christians. The voice of the martyrs. I don't know about that guy, dude. I don't know if I trust him.
Hi, Charlie. Before we start, I want to say I'm a professor here at WCU, and
thank you for no, don't boom. What do you teach?
Fair enough. I'm a sociology professor. I actually teach environment and climate change.
By the way, sociology is something conservatives think is completely fake. They don't care why society and why people do things. They don't care why anything functions, how it functions. Conservatives cannot do sociology because they will not accept it as a real thing at all, or socioeconomics. They don't think the systems around us affect you at all. So it's I mean, from the start, we already know it's going to be bad.
Don't worry, that's not my question. I have no desire to talk about that today. Before I start, though, I actually want to surprise you maybe a little bit and say that I appreciate that you're here. If nothing else, hold on. If nothing else, as someone who wants so badly to see our students engaged in politics and the life of the mind, this is great, and you should give yourselves a hand for showing up and be out here to talk about ideas. I do want to focus my question, if I can ask a question rather than doing this whole polemic thing, on.
It's a good rule of thumb if you're going to go speak publicly or give a testimony at a school board meeting or at a local council or for your state house, whatever it might be. Complimenting people and thanking them for having the conversation does appeal to moderate voters. And by moderate voters, I mean those voters that vote based off the Joe Rogan podcast and vibes. It's good to say thank you for having the conversation. They love that. They love talking about how they're having conversations instead of what we're actually talking about. But they do love the act of it. So what he just did there is really good to do. And it's chill.
On the students that are here. So I've taught here for 6 years. I've gotten to know hundreds of our students. Every semester I ask them what they care about, what they want, what concerns them. And I think you probably know this, what scares them the most is that the day that they leave here and they go on the job market, they enter the labor pool, that they're not going to find a job. They're not going to find a job. They're going to have a hard time buying a home. They're not going to be able to afford to have a family. Do you agree with that? Do you all agree with that?
Largely. I mean, if they're studying sociology, they might not be able to find a job.
Why-
But I mean,
Fair enough. Yeah.
you're kind of proving that college is not.
I'm muted. Owned. He got owned right there. I mean, in a society that doesn't care about people, that does not care about making lives better, then sociology, you're not going to get paid for it. In a modern society where you're striving for the best of humanity, they're going to get paid. But in Charlie Kirk's world, definitely not.
Not really a good use of time.
So for what it's
if
worth,
the students
Charlie-
are talking to can't find jobs, why are they learning from you?
Sorry, for what it's worth.
Just remember, if you go to college, one of the most profitable fields to go into is to learn how to make bombs for the military, to learn how to make bombs and weapons of mass destruction, by the way. So the most profitable jobs, and also talk about mass surveillance, talk about social media, talk about all these things that drain society. Things that make money are often really bad for people. You know, Jesus did not profit. He did not care about the profit or the money he'd make from his work. He cared about loving people and mutual respect and caring about talking about what he wanted people to live through the word of God. So it's okay. America would hate Jesus.
Worth, Charlie, I mostly don't teach sociology students. I mostly teach students from across campus who are interested in things like the environment and climate change. I teach very few sociology students. There's actually a lot of environmental science, engineering,
Even more
finance,
so, but
accounting. A lot of people with the kinds of degrees that you think are very valuable. Anyway, they remain concerned. What I would love to hear from you, genuinely, is what you believe the Trump administration has done in these first 4 months that is making the economic futures of these young people better.
Nothing. He's probably going to say Donald Trump is using strength and making sure we focus less on the woke and focusing more on protecting America by taking a really strong approach at the border and by protecting our jobs with a strong trade policy. At least he's doing it. He's doing something.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been in office for 80 days, but quite a lot. Number one, the price of oil is already down, so it's easier for everyone here to be able to drive
Okay,
home.
oil went down because that's a recession indicator. Okay.
Gas is going to be cheaper, which also will lower inflation. Number two, a tax bill hopefully passed, which is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, largest middle class tax
By the way, none of that's in the tax bill.
cut in history.
They
So
lied.
everyone
They
here
love
that's going to
lying.
have a job where overtime is incorporated, they'll be able to keep more of their money. Number three,
Well, that's amazing. They were able to cut taxes on tips without even including it in the bill they passed.
we're
Wow.
opening up federal lands to build more homes, which is a great thing because
Oh, thank God we're going to cut down federal lands for no reason. We're going to kill all of the national parks for no reasons.
homeownership
Woo.
is way inaccessible for a lot of people in this audience, and it's going to take some time. And one of the main reasons why President Trump won is because we were able to move the youth vote rather significantly
Absolutely.
and substantially because the Democrat Party, A, took younger voters for granted. I think we can agree on that.
Absolutely.
And B, they did not have an optimistic, hopeful agenda for homeownership, for getting married and having children in this country. So
Donald Trump had an optimistic vision. His vision was immigrants are killing all of us. Immigrants are raping all of us. Immigrants are causing every single problem. We're going to get the damn immigrants out of our country. They eat dogs. They're savages. They're evil. They're poisoning the blood of America. That's your positive vision. Meanwhile, you ask Donald Trump about healthcare. He's like, I have concepts of a plan. This guy's been running for president for damn near 10 years. He has no healthcare plan. And Kamala Harris would talk about actual plans to give tax credits for small businesses, to give some benefit for buying homes. To remove regulations, a plan to remove regulations to build more homes, a real plan, not just saying we're going to cut down all the freaking federal or national parks, federal land. Like there were real plans, expanding Medicare to cover at-home costs and expanding childcare, expanding the ability for Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Like Kamala talked about policies. I'm not a huge Kamala fan, but she actually talked about policies. Trump was emotional, crybaby. They're eating the cats, eating the dogs, like he believes the dumbest shit possible. He thinks a trade deficit is when we're subsidizing another country. Like, it's just so amazing how much my dryer's going off. If you hear that, if you hear a big buzzer, my dryer's going off. My clothes are dry.
I would like to see the Trump administration go even further
Right.
and make it so that every young person in this country can have accessibility to be able to own a home. I think they should prohibit major funds like BlackRock from buying up private family homes.
Oh, okay. Then why is Donald Trump deregulating BlackRock and cutting BlackRock's taxes and letting BlackRock dictate Trump's policies when it comes to housing? If Charlie Kirk cares about BlackRock, why is Donald Trump giving BlackRock more power than any president in American history?
Absolutely.
So that we have to compete against them.
Look at everyone cheering like dumb.
And I'll just do another thing I'm privately lobbying for, and publicly, because I'll say it here, is I don't think the Chinese Communist Party should be able to buy up farmland in the western part of the United States.
Absolutely.
And
Oh, but they can still own TikTok because their billionaire investors bought Trump's cryptocurrency and bought stock in Truth Social. So it's okay to keep TikTok here, which is probably mass surveillance. a mass surveillance app. But we stopped caring about that because Daddy Trump got paid off by the Chinese party. So the farmland matters, but that doesn't matter. I'd say TikTok's a much bigger security concern than just farmland. And also the signal gate. That is a true issue. If we talk about security, if you care about... My buzzer's going off again, my dryer, if you heard that.
And with that, single-family homes. Yeah. So that's just some of the ideas here.
Sure. So can I?
Is BlackRock a gas whistle? A dog whistle? Is BlackRock a dog whistle when Charlie Kirk says that? Do they care about BlackRock? Do they care about money or finances? Or is he just saying like BlackRock means globalism or the global conspiracy? You know what that means? Do they actually care about finance? I really don't think so.
Respond. I actually agree with most of what you're saying. I'm not sure that opening up federal lands for housing is going to really solve our housing crisis. I'm not sure.
It would not. The federal land that's available is like what, in like Montana or something? And they're, oh man, the issue is not land. We have land.
Lowering the cost of gasoline is really going to deal with the other kinds of inflationary pressures that the Trump administration is putting on the economy, because you didn't really mention the most important
healthcare,
thing,
education,
which is place massive tariffs on imports into the United States,
tariffs,
which has caused retaliatory tariffs, which are putting economic pressures on American businesses. So it's not only actually jacking up the price; it's functionally a tax on all of us.
I'm proud of Charlie. The beginning part, he actually tried to make policy sense, or at least he tried to sound like he makes policy sense. He didn't go complete just propaganda mode, although that's what he's doing. My dryer's going off again.
We're all just going to pay extra for things that get imported. So there's inflation. But all of this conflict, the import, the cost of living going up, the pressure is being put on businesses, also means that the odds of a recession are also going up by every estimate, not just academic economists, but economists from the government, as well as economists who are working in finance. In the
economists, dude, we don't trust the experts because they don't know anything. Why would any economist know anything? When every single economist disagrees, it means we're doing something right. When all the conservative, when all the liberal, when all the leftist, when every single economist from every ideological background, from every school of thought, when they disagree with the Trump tariff regime, you know, we're doing something right because the experts are always wrong, bro.
How do you reconcile the increasing cost of living, the odds of a recession, with the idea that the Trump administration is making the economic futures of young people better?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I fully acknowledge that what we inherited from Joe Biden was, no, I mean, of course, you inherit.
Oh, dude. Like Trump said, all the bad parts are Joe Biden, all the good parts are Trump. Remember, the tariff war, the trade war happening right now globally, that's turning every country to be anti-American and pro-China, hurting America. My dryer's going off. We're setting an embargo. Trump embargoed America from global trade. Like he did a self-embargo on America, self-inflicted embargo, which is really bad. But also remember, he brought up a bunch of things that Trump did. Trump did all the things he mentioned. He mentioned all the things Trump actually did himself. But Republicans and conservatives are weak-minded sheep that cannot take personal responsibility for their own decisions. So they need to blame someone else, Joe Biden, whoever else. When they're not in charge, Republicans are crying like, I'd be the best person in the world. I could be the Monday morning quarterback and lead the team to the Super Bowl. But when they're finally in a position to actually make decisions, when Republicans and conservatives got to make decisions, they're like, oh, it's the last guy's fault, dude.
You want me to prove to you how bad the economy was we inherited?
Sorry,
you can laugh and chuckle.
Real quick. I think that the problems facing the American economy are bipartisan. They've been caused by both parties over 40 years.
Hold on, let me prove to you how that's
not
true.
a Biden problem.
No,
it's not an Obama problem. It's a Bush and Biden and Obama
See,
problem.
No, hold on. Allow me to finish my point.
Go for it.
And the audience, your students, will teach you something.
Do you see how this academic professor comes up and he instantly says, you know, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to say it's Obama, Bush, Biden, Trump. It's everyone in the system that's leading us to this direction. He's sacrificing so much ground here. He's coming up with extremely good faith, asking good questions. And Charlie Kirk, again, is pivoting to the most dumb, low-level political propaganda mode he can possibly go to. It's so pathetic.
Is that okay?
Charlie Kirk is considered a good debater because his dumb, fake charisma, insecure style of talking makes conservatives think he's smart.
I would love that.
Who had a stronger economy, Joe Biden or Donald Trump's first term?
Oh man, and he comes back to the dumbest possible questions. You know, there's something to be said for not being a dumbass. You know, you don't gotta be a dumbass. You really do not need to be a dumbass. I know people get confused about this, but you can know things. You're like, oh, who had the stronger economy? George Bush, his first term, or Obama, his first term? Nothing else happened in that time period. You know, when Biden took over after COVID, or during COVID, he dealt with all the COVID inflation. He dealt with Ukraine and Russia or the Russian invasion of Ukraine. He dealt with Israel-Palestine. Like, Joe Biden had to deal with so many things. And I know for a fact, because they talk about this with COVID, if Donald Trump goes through anything that's a national emergency or or a global disaster or whatever, or a war, they give him every single bit of wiggle room to say, oh, it's not his fault for COVID.
It's not so you could say it's a bipartisan problem, but when Donald Trump was president, blue-collar workers and young people saw their incomes rise faster than the 1%.
Donald Trump did not do any policies as president, remember. You have to know what the president actually did to effectuate change. What did the president actually do? Did the president do anything? Because Trump got a big old fat participation medal as president. There's a reason why this time around Trump's actually doing things and the economy's crashing. Think about it. Trump's first term. Trump talks about the deep state preventing him from doing all these amazing policies. Okay? He still had an amazing economy. Trump says it would be even better. The economy would have been even better the first term if the deep state, Republican, rhinos didn't hold me back. All right? The economy did good after Obama because Trump did not change anything because he wasn't allowed to, they claim. Now that Trump has the full steering wheel, okay, he's in charge of everything. He has more executive power than any president in American history. Unilaterally himself deciding what the economic tariff policy is going to be for America. And the entire world is crashing down. The moment there is a buffer between Trump and actual leadership and decisions, things are fine. He gets a big old participation medal, all right? But now he's making real decisions by himself with a couple advisors, and shit's going to hell. Our tourism is down 30%. We have 800 flights canceled at one airport in Newark, in New Jersey. Countries are afraid to come here for the World Cup. European countries are sending their workers here with burner phones, typically reserved for China or Russia or other authoritarian countries. We are talking about invading Canada and Greenland. We're talking about how the EU and Europe is our biggest mortal enemy. And apparently Russia should be reintroduced to global trade, while at the same time we kick out Europe. We're going to kick out Europe and take in Russia and El Salvador? We're going to trade Europe for Russia and El Salvador. When Trump's actually in charge, shit goes to hell. Okay, remember that. Look at what's happening right now. He's fully in charge now. This is Trump's economy. He can say, the bad parts aren't my fault. The good parts are my fault. I did the good things. Biden did the bad things. But you guys know better. You know better. Don't degrade yourself by falling to the dumb propaganda. You're not stupid. Don't act like it.
When Joe Biden was president, the wealthy got wealthier than any other time in American history. We saw the 1%.
Donald Trump did the biggest tax cut for the rich. I hate this guy, dude. Charlie Kirk is such a slimy scumball.
Their asset class, and young people and workers had a tougher time. As far as tariffs go, we're still very, let's just say, new into this rather risky experiment that the American people voted for. It could raise prices, or it could end up being where we strike really good trade deals and we sell more of our own products to these countries. And tariffs are a forcing function.
No, that's not true. That's not going to happen. There's zero possibility of that happening. That's not even me being a hater. It's just like, oh my god, dude. I don't have a good analogy. Oh crap. It's like I'm saying I'm trying to break a wall down, and I'm like smacking my head against it. And someone brings me a hammer. And I'm like, nah, I don't gotta use the hammer. I can smack my head against it and knock the wall down eventually. And it's like, why are you hurting yourself if you have a tool that you can use in a different way to knock the wall down? You don't need to use your own head. You're gonna hurt yourself. And I keep saying, nuh-uh, bro, my head is the strongest head ever. I have the best head. I'm gonna knock down the whole wall. And everyone else is questioning, like, hey, dude, we have like a jackhammer out here. Why are you using your head for this? We have a sledgehammer. We have all the tools you need. But you're stupid, so you keep slamming your head against the wall. And then eventually you're going to grab the sledgehammer and knock the wall down, finally. And you're going to say it's because you used your head to knock it down to begin with. And you suffered great injury, and you did nothing to the wall. But once you finally take away your stupid strategy, it's gonna look like you did something, because it's gonna be better than what you were doing.
Open up
it's just so stupid.
But I think it's actually really promising that a president is willing to risk even his own political favorability to do something that every other politician has promised, which
thank you, Trump.
is to protect the American worker. Sure. I really think that's political courage in spades. But I could address the other points, but if you'd like to interject.
You're right. Like it's risky, and I think that's an excellent way to frame it. So I guess my follow-up question is, what's the theory behind how this will work, and how long do we need to wait until we give up on the experiment?
Well, first and foremost, we don't know whether, so when you are the incumbent economic player, tariffs can help you. The entire world would love to be a consumer economy. We are a consumer economy. But if you are only a consumer economy, that comes with some problems. We don't make vitamin C in this country. It's all made in China. No, it's a real thing. You literally can't survive without vitamin C. Our antibiotics are made in China. You can laugh all you want. Our pharmaceutical materials, our aluminum.
Okay. You can believe all of these things are issues, and you want to bring manufacturing back to America. That is not the conversation we're having. If you ask the question, how are tariffs going to help us in any way? And you say, well, we need to bring jobs back, don't we? The manufacturing in these different areas. Okay, you can agree on that point. But how is the current strategy going to help with that?
Our ion, our rare earth minerals. We can't make a drone without at least half the components or parts made in mainland China. That's a national security problem. And so by using prudence, which is, of course, one of the highest of all the virtues, President Trump is able to weigh the costs and the benefits while also asking the most important question. Am I going to be able to have America not be a vassal state to the Chinese Communist Party while also improving the well-being of the people who voted for me, and not just people who voted for me, but every American person, every American citizen? Finally, if tariffs are nothing but downsides, why does China use them? There are some upsides potentially to tariffs, to protect some industries or to incentivize domestic.
Dude, if water isn't good for you, why can I not drink 52 gallons right now? Like, let's have a water drinking competition. Let's all drink 52 gallons of water. Nothing bad's gonna happen. I mean, water is good for you. Why do the doctors say not to drink 52 gallons of water? I don't understand. Why, if I cannot drink a whole bathtub full of water because the doctor said I'm gonna get water poisoning and die, why do other people? Why does LeBron James drink water if water's so bad for you? I said I'm gonna drink the whole ocean. You know, the doctor said I can't drink salt water, but LeBron James drinks water. Is water bad now? I don't get it. It's like just being so obtuse, acting like you don't understand what the point is. The point is the thing that's being attempted right now is very stupid. It's like, okay, well, you know, are taxes bad? It's like, well, taxes can be decent. Well, if you have a 20% income tax or 25% or 30%, it can make sense. And it's like, well, I want to put a 90% income tax on you. Like, there's obviously differences in the amount and what it has repercussion and what the actual outcomes are.
Production. And finally, I think I want to double down and reiterate this point, which is that the people in this audience that voted for President Trump were trying to send a message to their leaders that you haven't listened to us. The experts have gotten so much wrong. You guys stole prom away from us. You stole graduation away from us. You guys from the COVID lockdowns. And it's time for us to try something new. I'm simply just...
Imagine being such a little baby that you think COVID-19 was oppression. And you guys have the gall to say to black people that, like, slavery and segregation didn't ever matter and racism's not real oppression. Meanwhile, you think COVID-19 was oppression, you pampered little baby. Holy crap. It's actually insane how pampered they want to make you. You can't have any tough conversations. You can't do anything hard. You cannot, like, strive for a better world at all. You have to just give up, throw the whole game away, blow shit up. Like, it's so pathetic. So pathetic, bro. You think COVID-19 was tyranny. Holy shit, you're pampered. It's crazy.
That's great. I don't know what that has to do with the question that I asked, which was about the use of tariffs. I don't know what that has to do with prom.
I like but they cannot answer your question directly, because if they answer your question directly, it turns out they say a lot of dumb shit.
Hold on, but
no. You're redirecting the question. I
I'm
want to talk
not.
about the tariffs.
Can I tell you what it has to do with tariffs, actually? Because I'll complete the point. Because you have a PhD and I didn't go to college, so let me maybe make sense of it for you. Okay.
It's all emotional. It's all emotional. Listen to how emotional he's getting.
Okay? But I was saying, what it has to do with tariffs is that they don't trust what the experts have been saying, because the experts locked down this generation, unnecessarily masked them for 2 years. So
because of COVID, where you could not go to a bar for 3 months, now you cannot trust any expert on literally anything. It's actually it's a little kid mentality. It's a child mentality. It's like a kid that refuses to do chores because they couldn't get their lollipop or whatever. It really is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. I don't care anymore. It's really just degrading society to have this many babies.
The experts say tariffs don't work. Excuse us when we say, actually, you have completely invalidated all of your predictions the last couple of years. Do you see how they connect?
Well, I see how that connects to how people think about tariffs. I think that's different than what tariffs actually do.
Well,
and it's perfectly fine.
Oh, dude, imagine talking about the fact versus the emotion. Because Charlie Kirk needs the emotion, and he wants to talk about the fact. The professor wants to talk about fact. Charlie's like, no, bro, don't talk about what the tariffs actually do. Have you not heard me? I'm trying to be emotional right now. I'm trying to cry, and I want a response, like a kid in the corner crying for their parents to give them a hug or something. Like, look at when I'm not poking you. I'm not poking you. It's so sad. Hey, let's talk about facts. Nuh-uh, we can't talk about facts. We don't trust you because of COVID.
That's what they
Now
do.
you let me talk.
Well, hold on.
No, you let me talk.
Well,
you keep telling me not to interrupt you. I'm not
that's
interrupting
what
you.
you think they do. I'm going to add some context to what you're saying. However, we have not yet done an experiment of tariffs as the incumbent economic superpower when we have mass robotics, artificial intelligence, we are energy independent, and our greatest adversaries.
Dude, I think if you actually if you ever don't feel good, like you get sick, you can actually heal yourself by slamming your nuts in the door. Now, no one ever tried this. The experts say slamming your nuts in the door do not help you feel better with a fever. But I guarantee you, if you slam your nuts in the door, you're not going to be thinking about your fever anymore. But the experts do not want you to know this. And I think you should experiment and try it because it's going to help you not feel sick anymore, guys. Go slam your nuts in the door. The experts said don't do it. All the experts said it'll hurt. But I guarantee you, if you slam your nuts in the door, you're going to feel better. All right, guys? All right, all the guys, all the gals who got balls in chat, slam your nuts in your door frames. Whenever you feel sick, all right, report back to the National RFK Autism Database. All right, we're gonna keep track of it. Who is gonna slam their nuts in the door in the door frame and still think about their fever if you feel sick? Just think about it. You don't need opioids. You don't need Tylenol. Don't need ibuprofen. Just go slam your nuts in the door. It'll help you feel. You'll feel better right away. Guarantee it.
Energy dependent. So you don't know what's going to happen. And
back
the
to my
American
question.
people voted for the experiment.
Well, then let me redirect you back to the question that I asked you and that you didn't answer.
Yes,
So
we
it's an
voted to
experiment.
we voted to slam our balls in the door. Woo, it's gonna work. It's gonna work.
It's risky. These are your words. These are the words you have used. Yeah. How long do we have to wait? And when do we know that they've worked? Is it 3 years? Is it 4 years? Is it 4 years from now?
I just chopped my nuts off. I'm gonna sue.
Prices are still up.
Well, prices are not going up.
Hiring
Inflation
is
going down.
No. It's inflation is not going to go down.
But it already is,
though.
though.
You've put a tax. You've increased.
If inflation goes down, so that'll be largely because people don't have money to spend. So demand goes down. If demand goes down, then prices go down. Same with oil. If there's less oil being purchased, or if they think there's going to be less overall shipping, because shipping is the biggest demand for oil essentially. If there's going to be less trucks driving, less boats moving your Amazon products. Yeah, you can have deflation for bad reasons, and then you could have stagflation, which is inflation and slow growth at the same time. So you can have a lack of demand and a lack of supply, and then you could have a whole just messed up situation.
That's what the tariff does, Charlie.
So doctor, what's your
Bugden.
name? Buddington? Bugton. Dr. Bugton. How does one avoid a tariff?
Do you mean like how do we not impose tariffs
If you
intentionally
are,
on ourselves?
But let's
Is that your
let's
question?
educate the audience. If you're Toyota, how do you avoid a tariff?
In the current.
Toyota. I don't think Toyota matters to the American economy. If you really think about it, Toyota is the worst example to bring up. If you really think about what we need in our economy, I don't think Toyota is what we really need. If you think about it, I don't think we need Toyota. I don't think this is really the main thing we need right now, to be honest.
Climate, you would build cars here, which Toyota
Exactly.
does. Toyota
And
invests $1 billion a year in
Trillions of
building
dollars are
cars.
coming into the United States thanks to tariffs. Trillions of dollars. NVIDIA pledged $500 billion.
Those have nothing to do with the tariffs. Those were pre-existing agreements,
Toyota
Charlie.
just announced 10 new plants in Indiana and Ohio because of the tariffs.
Okay,
Hyundai the same. No, that
how long do we wait?
Someone said, bro, we've been in recession for 2 years. Okay. You being depressed and paranoid is not a recession. That's called depression, buddy.
But
How
hold
long
on.
until they build those
Get
plants?
help.
Is it
Well,
next
actually,
year? Is it 5 years? Is it 6 years?
They've announced it. They're going to break ground soon. However, I think the more operative question that you're asking is that if something doesn't work, President Trump will not follow it blindly because he's not an ideologue on this. You can laugh and
I
you
agree
can
that he's
kind of
not an
shrug
ideologue.
your shoulders. In fact, he's a patriot, unlike the prior.
Why are Republicans so damn sassy, bro? Why are Republicans so damn sassy? That's the most homophobic thing they've done, is take away the sassy from the gay community. Okay? And look at Pete Hegseth right now. I keep on saying it. They're trying to ban all the trans people from the military to make room for Pete Hegseth and his powdered up face because he's going through his own gender affirming care right now. All the Botox in the world. A little plastic Barbie and Ken Army they're building. Imagine how many gallons of Botox the Trump admin goes through every day. It's a real travesty. We could be sending that somewhere where people need it for migraines.
President, he actually cares about the well-being of the American people. And so
Emotional. He cares about you. He's a patriot. He cares about you. He's a patriot. You ever see the picture? I know he's a patriot because Trump says he loves America and he's a patriot. Because I saw this awesome picture. It made me cry. I saw this picture of Trump. I know he's a patriot. I saw this. It made me cry. Look at him. He's fighting for our country. Make America great again. Look, he has a bazooka. He has a bazooka. Oh. Trumbo, come save me, Trumbo, please.
So if what he is doing with tariffs start to have overwhelming evidence that it's not working for the American people, then he will pivot or adjust.
We understand you have your opinion. Charlie has his opinion. Reach out and ask to talk. Well, Charlie Kirk is, he would not talk to someone like me because I'm not famous to give him more clicks. He's a very dishonest person. He wants propaganda. He wants to talk to unprepared, unmedia trained, like people on universities and random faculty that wander up, because they like this guy is way too good intentioned for this conversation. You need to understand when talking to Charlie Kirk, he is only here to do propaganda. It's not a real conversation. And I think you might know that because he's trying to talk about facts and Charlie Kirk refuses to engage in anything. I appreciate the $5. It's just like, I don't have that clout. So make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Everyone drop a like. I have 62 likes, 500 viewers. Drop some likes, get me in the algorithm. I'll take some calls in a second. And also thank you for $2. You both should sit down and talk to each other. I mean, if Joe Biden was president, India never would have attacked Pakistan. True, Corey. Donald Trump let 2 nuclear powers go to war. If Joe Biden was president, 2 nuclear powers would have never gone to war. It's insane. India and Pakistan.
But let me tell you the other component. We're about to pass a massive tax bill in conjunction with the tariff strategy that will make us the most desirable market on the planet to do business. The American worker is about to take more money home than they ever have in the last 50 years. Again, no tax on tips, no tax on social.
By the way, the only thing that's going to go up is stock buybacks and CEO salary and overall corporate profits. They will not lower costs. If anything, the tariffs are going to raise costs. And then even if the tariffs go away, companies are going to keep the costs at a higher range because they get the free reign to do so. If you're a gamer, the gaming industry, gamers are being used right now. The tariffs are giving the gaming industry a clear way to make games $80 a piece and to make consoles cost more. So, GG's.
Security, no tax on overtime. We're going to have a massive middle-class tax cut, an expanded child tax credit, things that the Democrats and Joe Biden refuse to do.
Expand the child tax credit? Yeah, bro. Sure thing. JD Vance voted against that shit. He actually did not show up for the votes. Yeah, they're also gonna give a $5,000 Doge dividend to us, guys.
President Trump is going to deliver in massive numbers. So I would like to say, despite what the experts say, there's a recession coming, it might be true. But again, this is the same expert class that has completely lost any credibility with the American people the last couple of years. President Trump's been in office for 80 days. Remember when everyone was complaining about the price of eggs? Well, the price of eggs has gone down. The price of oil has gone down dramatically, like $20 a barrel. Give President...
Eggs are not cheap yet. They are far from cheap. They actually went to an all-time high price like a week or two ago.
Trump some time. And by the way, it only took him 10 days to solve the border crisis. Turns out we did not need a border bill. We just needed a new president to secure the southern border.
For what it's worth, I haven't had lunch, so I'm going to leave and let the next person talk.
On immigration, 0 Americans know if there's any immigration at all, ever. Americans are completely emotional on immigration. So they don't know if Trump fixed it. He could just say he fixed it, and nothing could have changed at all. It's whatever. We'll find out eventually.
Stop the name calling. Have an intelligent conversation. Name calling is not necessary for an intelligent conversation.
This dude's a weenie for real. This guy that called him, he's a weenie. He's a straight weenie.
I don't know what you're trying to do. If you're trying to have an intelligent conversation,
yeah, stick with the facts. The guy that went on a rant about how gay people ruin his life because he's a closeted homosexual man. Okay. $20 million in 4 years. What's the actual number? How many immigrants actually came over? Let's see. What's the actual estimated number of immigrants that came over the southern border? In 2024, total nationwide encounters were 10 million at the end of his term. So what is it? Like 9 million at the high range? I think 8 or 9 million at the high range. And what percentage is even illegal immigration, and what percentage is asylum seeking in legal forms? Because it's like they lie about this number so much. They could change the number every day based on their emotions. So 70 million people came over the border. 70 million. I saw a brown guy yesterday. There's 70 million of them. I'm scared. Okay, phone lines are open if you want to call in. Buddy. 15 million? Who said 15 million? Where? Oh wait, I have another stream goal. If you guys have money to donate, I really would appreciate it. I'm gonna start begging for money. You can help my channel out a lot. Jolah Politics on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. If you're able to do that, I'll stream so long every night once I'm back from my trip. Jolah Politics on PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. You can donate through Coffee, the link you see on screen. Really appreciate donations to there. Really appreciate it to help me do my stuff. I'm gonna do my stuff. Dot. Wop, dot. Okay, no one's calling in. No one's calling in anymore. You said it was false. Oil prices are... No, I said... Okay, so oil prices can be down. I said oil prices being down is not always a good thing, because oil prices go down during COVID, for example. Was that a good thing, dumbass? Go suck a tit.
Call from.
Hello?
Hey man, I'm not actually against this whole thing, but I just wanted to talk about how I saw a couple of my neighbors taken away by ICE, even though they were citizens, and it's horrifying. Can we just talk a little bit about the deportation of legal citizens in this country, because it's a terrifying situation, and it could happen to any of us. I look like them, and I don't know if it's going to happen to me next.
Yeah, I saw a few cases of that, but I don't know every location that it happened in.
It was right next to me. I live actually really close to the Capitol. I live in Virginia.
Oh, I saw they're doing sweeps today. Was that yesterday and today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, and you said they were U.S. citizens, or you think they're citizens?
No, I actually helped them move in. They had passports, everything. Everyone in the neighborhood was chill with them. They actually, they cooked meals, like frequently they had like cookouts. And they did like renovations on their house and a lot of our houses all the time. They helped us put up a fence. And now I don't know what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, that's definitely terrible. And yeah, I saw they're going after restaurants and going after workplaces, and obviously we know they're going after college students as well. And I just hope that people, you know, it's hard because the media and the echo chambers will prevent people from seeing the truth of what's happening. But it's obvious they lied about so much of what they said about immigrants, and we knew that, but many Americans don't. But to the point where, you know, if we talk about, and I never used the term like white privilege, for example, but there's a reason why these so like quote unquote accidental U.S. citizens being detained are all like not going to be white people, and not going to be, you know, people that have American accents. You know, it's always going to be people who are going to be in minority groups or whatever else that are going to be targeted for this. And that is like a true point where privilege is a big thing right now, and being tan and having an accent right now in general is going to get ICE to, you know, look at you, and they have quotas. Law enforcement should never have quotas, for one, but they do have quotas. They're deputizing random assholes, like just random scumbags that want to go pick up brown people or whatever. Like it is definitely insane, and yeah, definitely terrible that you had to see that.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking my call. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. If you have anything else, definitely feel free to shoot a text message or join our Discord if you're not in there already. But yeah, thank you for calling in.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good one. Someone said, The chat said, should have had a real ID. Someone said, this guy thinks white privilege still exists. I don't say white privilege that often. But it is a privilege. It's a huge privilege, especially right now with ICE. If you're not white and you have an accent, you are going to be probably detained if an ICE agent comes near you. I don't know. If you avoid basic reality, then you're going to think it's dumb. It's stupid or whatever. But for myself, I'm not just saying things because I care about microaggressions or being an ally or because I was on TikTok or because I was talked to by diversity counselors or consultants and everything, or I learned about racial sensitivity. I don't care about that stuff. I care about the facts. I care about the real things people go through. I care about the real things that make a difference, the real variables that can get you targeted by a government that wants to discriminate against people based on their skin color and accent. And being a white American is definitely a huge, huge, huge privilege. Because right now, if you're an American citizen and you are not white and you have an accent, those individuals are largely getting detained by ICE right now. They could be detained and put in prison in terrible conditions for 10 days after committing no crime because an ICE agent says, "Oh, he looks like an illegal." He looks like an illegal because illegal to them is the same thing that Jewish was to Nazi Germany. It's the same thing that you could say it's a status of someone that you claim did a crime, for example, but saying someone's an illegal based off their appearance and justifying the government doing whatever they want to that person, whether it's detaining them, whether it's shipping them off to a torture camp in El Salvador, whether it's executing someone, like there's a reason we have due process and everything. And if you don't care about the facts of the world, it's fine. You could go play with your block set and build like Lincoln Logs or something. Maybe stimulate your brain a little bit. I don't want you to hurt yourself, so you could get a leapfrog pad. Maybe not an iPad, but leapfrog pads. Play a little game, play some Frogger. Like, go play some stuff your brain can handle. Don't talk about politics if you can't really handle these conversations. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you for the donations. Let me see. $2 TJ. I always say TJ. TJ. Same thing. New friends. Yeah, Discord is in the... Wait a second. Let me put that I'm live in Discord. I don't think I did that yet. I'll take callers if someone calls in. I'm not getting any calls right now. Oh, there's a couple. Okay, the line should let you call me then. Nice. Dixon, you are brain dead. You are one of the dumbest people in my chat in history. If you don't understand why it's bad for the law enforcement to claim someone's a immigrant or an illegal and putting them in a camp in a cage for 10 days for no reason and refusing to look at their documents, you don't understand life in general. You should be wrapped in bubble wrap and never allowed to be outside. I hope you don't drive a car because you're gonna be in the wrong lane constantly because you're so stupid. You don't understand your left from your right. Holy shit! Go to a different chat. Go to a gaming chat. Talk to them about some freaking video game. Like, you can have the accessibility settings on so they can show you every single thing you have to do to win the game. Okay. Hello. I'm doing all right. How about you? Yeah, what do you want to chat about?
Oh, I was just gonna say a lot of these Trump supporters don't understand like what's going on as far as immigration, as far as people not having the respect of due process.
Yeah, they would have been saying, they would have been definitely supporting the KKK. Like, oh, well, all the blacks are violent, so it's okay that they're tormenting them. Like, they would have been saying that shit. They would have been saying, oh, it's okay to put the Japanese in internment camps. I mean, because they're the enemy, right? They bombed Pearl Harbor, even the American ones. Like, it's just like these same people all throughout history have been on the wrong side of it, and they don't understand that. They're too stupid to understand that now, but it's really just dumb.
They're not too stupid. I mean, they're arrogant. They don't think it applies to them. They
Well,
don't
they're
understand
arrogant
that
because they're
at some
stupid, I
point
guess what I'm
it's going
saying.
to apply to them.
Well, they're stupid because, I mean, even when it comes to caring about other people, they're too stupid to care about other people because they don't realize why caring about other people can benefit them too. Like you just said.
Exactly.
Like, it's
yeah,
so stupid.
sure. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You know, I just imagine, my family trying to get out of the country at some point, and then, like, what if some country was just like, eat shit, like, go away.
Yeah, imagine you escape a dictatorship, make it to the land of the free, and you're working your ass off. You never commit a crime, and they call you an illegal and say it's justified to put you in a slave camp now. It's just so brain dead. I think I need to find good insults for him because I can't say some of the ableist ones, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry.
they deserve them though.
Yeah, no.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna be ableist, but I'm not gonna actually say anything.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, thank you for the call. Have a good one. I might restart the stream. Low key, high key, mid key, low key, high key, mid key, low key, high key, mid key. No, let me see. I'm getting a lot of viewers on this live stream, but it's not a lot of engaging viewers. So I might restart this maybe. But it's a good stream of viewers, but it's whatever. Entering a country illegally makes them criminals. Democrats created the KKK. You're really stupid. You're really stupid. You're really stupid. Entering a country illegally because you don't think asylum's a thing. You don't think protective status is a thing. You don't care about anything. You really don't care about. You would hate refugees. You would hate Jesus too. You would have hung Jesus. You would have killed him. You would have been laughing as he was tortured. Objectively, you would have been. Well, it's not a criminal offense to be here illegally. It's not a criminal offense. It could be a civil infraction, but they don't care about the facts of it. They really don't. Because they'll say, like, for example, Democrats will say, hey, don't send innocent people to El Salvador slave camps, or don't do that without due process, or don't round up 4-year-old girls that have cancer and ship them off abroad without having some type of process to find a way to situate them, to find a better way to take care of that person. They don't care about innocent people. They don't care about undocumented. They don't care about anything. To them, it's illegals. And if they're illegals, then America and American people can do whatever they want to them because they view illegals as animals. It's the only crime where you say this person is defined by, this person is an illegal. That's why the left says, no person is illegal. You can say someone did something illegal, but if you drink and drive, you're not an illegal. Because I think only 25% of the people sent to El Salvador had a criminal record. 75% did not.
I think, like I said, when you're like that against something, you're like that thing, I think, like I said, when you're like that against something, you're like that thing, Like, I know we're not always going to agree, and I'm enough of an adult to know there's always going to be racism, there's always going to be homophobia. I totally get that. But, like, for example, if you don't like gay marriage, don't get married to a gay person, Easiest way to knock that out.
Because conservatives, if they see a gay man, they instantly start grabbing themselves. they start getting thoughts and feelings. Like, I see a gay man kissing another gay man. I'm jealous. Conservatives, that's one thing they don't tell you. If you talk to a conservative a long time, you'll find this out. But they're often anti-gay because they're jealous that they're too scared to be gay publicly because they're in the closet. So if they see gay men kissing, they get inspired to chase their like true selves. So like many conservative men are just waiting to go, grab some nuts, but they can't. They just cannot bring themselves to do so,
Okay. I just can't get over the person who's like, I just can't stop thinking about what gay people are doing behind closed doors.
Exactly.
Well, that means you're gay. Turns out that's the second gayest shit you can do.
The second, only the second.
I'll let you guess what number one is. Mike Johnson. He's gay. I'm just saying, listen. If I saw a picture of Mike Johnson on somebody's mantle, I'd be like, oh, that's cool, you have a gay uncle. What's his name?
That's very true.
Because his picture is like...
That's crazy. Look at Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley's pretty too. We have Lindsey Graham. I mean, look at George Santos, right? George Santos, a Republican congressperson, lied about their entire lives because Republicans don't care about who they're voting for. And he's a literal drag queen. Like, was able to keep it hidden. And also, if you hear him talk, and I mean, for a long time, you could tell that he's probably not completely, you know, straight. So, like, the fact that they elected George Santos, it makes sense they'll elect Josh Hawley and Mike Johnson and all these other, like, closeted politicians that hate gay people. Sorry, that hate other gay people.
Have you seen his skin? He's got amazing skin. I'm like, what's this guy moisturized with? Vitamin E? Hello, other dudes jizz. I just think that he's... I'll protest too much. That's all I'm saying. Some of y'all might think I'm being mean to him, but he wants to put women in jail who get an abortion. He wants to put abortion providers in jail, and he also wants to be able to put people in jail for being gay. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, at least the only Republicans that voted for him are every single one. I don't have a joke for that. That is the joke. Yeah, it's terrifying, man. It's terrifying. His wife owns a gay conversion company, counseling. They try to pray the gay away, get the kids to, you know, to not be gay anymore. You just got to make them forget all the books they read. That's where it starts. I want to be clear that there is a message tonight. And it's that Mike Johnson is gay. But listen, there's other stuff. I tell you what I've learned.
Politics and comedy don't mix. Some of the greatest comedians have centered around political commentary and political jokes.
You cannot always outsmart somebody. You can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. You probably think it's funny when someone says, hey, did you see the trans people, the transgenders? You know that they're women that think they could be men? That's what you think is funny.
You can't win a rational argument with somebody that doesn't care about logic. You can't. You can't. You can't
AKA
have a
every Trump
really
supporter.
intellectual conversation where you walk away feeling good about it with somebody that thinks Donald Trump is a Christian. Oh, well, you're a silly goose.
Trump did become a Christian after the assassination attempt because he was able to say, like, well, God saved me personally, so God did something for me. So after that, it was transactional. So Trump thought about it for a second after that. Like, oh, God saved me? God made me the chosen person? Like, wow. I might actually like God.
If you can't outsmart them, what do you got to do? You got to outdumb them. Try it. Fucking works. When they say some dumb shit, be like, what's the dumbest thing I could say right now? And watch their brain explode, you know? I was getting tires put on my monster truck the other day. Because I'm an alpha male. And this guy sat down beside me in the waiting room, and Fox News was on the TV. They were being all fair and balanced. And this dude sat down right beside me. No, they were talking about abortion on Fox News. This dude sits right beside me in the waiting room because he looks at me and he's like, you're on my team? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I have earphones on, you know? I'm wearing earphones. It's the international symbol for don't fucking talk to me. Right? And I'm drinking energy drinks, listening to true crime, trying to figure out why I'm in a grumpy mood, you know? I'm like, maybe it's the stimulants and the murder. Who knows? And he nudges me and he goes, abortion.
Unless you are LGBT, which I don't. Stop making comments about it. It's wild, which I don't. You shut up. That is funny that you think there are women that can be men. It's funny that that the president you voted for thinks that his daughter can be a sexual partner. That's kind of crazy too, isn't it? Kind of crazy that he thought it was okay to be best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and he even knew Jeffrey Epstein loved younger girls. That's kind of crazy. Oh my God.
It's a real shame, ain't it?
It's kind of crazy that the response that you have to trans people existing is you want to make bathroom bills that make it legal for old men to grow up your daughters. Oh, trans people exist. Oh, I think we should pass a law that allows creepy men to say my daughter looks trans and now he can grow up her to check her genitals. You guys are the ones legalizing sexual assault for children. Like, if you really think about it, you're legalizing sexual assault for children and you don't even give a shit because you hate trans people so much.
And I just went. And in my mind, I was like, you gotta outdumb him. So I put my voice on. I looked him in the eye and said, hell yeah, buddy, it sure is. That's why I like gay people so much. And he looked at me like I was there, and there. He was so confused. And he goes, what? I was like, bro, gay people get less abortions than any other group of people, dude. If you're pro-life, you pretty much got to be pro-gay as well. It's like a catch-26, you know.
Oh, it's illegal for someone to go in the bathroom if they're the wrong gender. Well, who's going to check that? Who's going to enforce that? Which old gross man is going to be touching your daughter to make sure that she has the right genitals? Now, which old man is going to use that law to go into the women's bathroom to grow up your daughter? I'm trying to think. You know, it's already illegal to assault someone in the bathroom and to grab people, but you know the Republican bills make that legal. I know you don't care much about women, but I know you want to use women for your political aims to attack trans people. Because y'all wanted to cancel the WNBA before trans people became a thing, but now you're all pom-poms for the women's sports. I'm not getting any callers, guys. I'm trying to get callers. No one wants to talk to me. I'm trying to get callers to talk to about everything. About the world around us.
Eric Hill.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, my man?
I'm doing alright. How about you?
Not too bad. So, basically the reason why I was calling was your comment on the political matter of men in women's sports. And for some reason that you think an old man is going to go and check the gender of everybody that is in a bathroom. Like, I just want to know, do you get off thinking like that?
No, so the ones that passed the genital inspection bill did.
How do you not know that they would have somebody that is there that is equipped to handle that gender? So if they
every
identify
single
as a
bathroom
female,
in America,
you allow a female there in order to check. And
so
if
every
they
single bathroom in America has
obviously-
a security guard?
Well, I mean, most of the bathrooms in America have security guards because a lot of people steal in the bathrooms.
What about the states that pass anti-trans bathroom bills that have zero trans people in sports?
I fully agree with that. Why would a man want to compete with women's sports?
No, I'm saying the bathroom bill. If there's no trans people there, why are there laws for it?
Well, there's obviously a lot of trans people everywhere in the country, and they need to be able to protect, you know, actual, real young girls from predators that are trying to identify as trans.
So like for example, a young girl has a much higher chance of being assaulted by an uncle or a cousin or a father than they do a stranger in general, let alone trans people. So the biggest issue is in church groups and also in the home, if we talk about total child sexual assaults. So we can crack down on those areas if you want.
But okay, so then why do trans people want to have access to our kids and have drag story hour with them to where they're wearing very inappropriate, very inappropriate costumes, makeups, whatever, and flashing their genitalia at
So
kids
I would say
while
for
they're
that,
reading books.
So if you're in the real world talking to people in different events and everything, now I'm against what you're talking about actually. So if they do the drag queen story hour with inappropriate outfits, I'm very against that. But usually they're just recognition events, and I know you see it on social media where you see it like Yeah, I'm just saying. Most people are against that, but when it comes to just someone being trans or dressing in drag and existing, I don't think that's a necessarily like evil thing for society that should be banned or whatever. I don't think it should be in public schools for a lot of it. But when it comes to just trans people being present and talking about trans people existing, I think that's completely fine. And most people are just anti trans in general. But I'd say the same reason that you would talk about just like gay people existing, or even like people of other races or skin colors or cultures or religions. You want people to understand, like, hey, we're a minority group. I want you to understand us, so we don't have fighting between each other. Because if we don't listen to each other and talk to each other and try to understand each other, then we're never going to be able to come to a better place as a society.
No, I can agree with that 100%. If you're going to have a willing and open discussion about who, like, whatever it is in your personal life, to talk about that and why you want to decide if you're a man, you became a woman, that's perfectly fine. And I 100% accept that. But the way that I'm not accepting it is the way that most of these people are using trans identity and trying to get that into our kids' school system.
I mean, I know a lot of trans people. I'm sure you probably don't know that many trans people, but I do. And like, I don't know anyone that's purposely trying to infest or something a school system. Like, usually they're just trying to exist. If you see one person on social media, that does not represent an entire group, nor does it represent all Trump supporters. If I see someone screaming the N-word, which I see a lot from Trump supporters, but I'm not going to say that you are screaming the N-word because I saw Trump supporters do it. So I'm not going to put that on the entire group.
I grew up in the ghetto. I've yelled the N-word a multiple amount of times, even with my pasty-ass white Irish skin. That doesn't offend me, and neither does it offend the people that I've called the N-word, because we have an understanding on where we're at. The only problem that I'm not understanding is the fact that they want to identify as trans, and most of these people have decided to use that as a way to access our school systems. And I don't think that's right. I think that uses that.
They don't want to be trans necessarily. They don't want to identify as trans. They have really no choice in the matter.
Well, okay, whether they have a choice in the matter or not, they have decided to identify as a sexuality that is not what was identified as birth. So they are trans, whatever. They have transitioned from a male to a female to a male, whatever they decided they wanted to do.
Yeah, but they don't want to be trans. They don't want to be trans.
The problem is the fact that the trans identity and politics and all that has been hijacked by pedophiles, and it seems that the trans community mostly
that's just not true at all. I just take a lot of offense because like they call black people pedophiles, they called Irish people pedophiles, they called freaking trans people pedophiles,
Irish,
gay
trust
people.
Me, I know.
Yeah, I know. Then stop using it for other minority groups, because Irish people got the brunt of it at one point in this country's history too, and you should act like it because you were in that position before, and I wouldn't want them to call you a pedophile either, just because you saw some dumbass social media posts. You don't see the real world.
If you act like a pedophile, you should be called a pedophile.
No, because you are seeing people acting like a pedophile based off freaking social media posts, and because you don't like a group of people. Just because
I'm not going off the social media.
It's like I said before. Okay, so do you think
and I've seen all the shit that's happened.
So are different Christian churches using religion to get into situations to
How dare you assume I'm
children?
Christian?
I'm not saying that, but are they doing it? Are Christians using it as an excuse to assault children?
No, that's the Catholics, not the Christians. Get it right.
Most of the assaults in America today are independent Bible churches right now. Like, most of the stories you hear about are independent youth groups, not the Catholic Church. That was one scandal. It was a big scandal a while ago, but still, right now the biggest cases in America are from other religions.
You don't want to accept the fact that a bunch of the Catholic churches were moving around pedophiles after claims were made against them, and they were trying to hush it up and cover it up.
What I'm saying is that I'm not going to take rumors or even things like that. And
How
that
is
is
it rumors? It's documented.
Okay, if you can listen for 2 seconds, buddy, I'll try to talk slowly so you can hear me, because your dumbass, brain-dead brain cannot comprehend the words I'm saying.
Okay, so you have
so
to
what I'm saying is, yes, I do have to insult you because you're dumb. You're a dumb trucker. You're a dumb trucker. Okay, you drive the truck into the wall. I know you're not a trucker.
No,
it's a joke. Okay, you're too dense. You are too stupid to know. You're too stupid.
I'd be making good money.
Oh, you're too. Okay, I'm sorry that you're broke ass. Okay, so I hope you find prosperity. I really do. Okay, so when we talk about what I'm saying I'm not going to take rumors about a group or to just like accept this broad definition of a group that there is no proof of, and also because they're just saying that because they don't like trans people, they want to villainize them and say they're going to be assaulting children.
How are
like
you
I said,
saying that
they said the same thing. They said the same thing about. They said the same thing about black people in schools. They said the same thing about gay people in schools. Every single minority group that the public does not understand, they say, oh, they're pedophiles. Oh, they're dangerous. Oh, they can't be involved because they're spreading their woke mind virus to our children. That's what Hitler said about Jewish people too. One of the biggest Jewish conspiracy theories in Nazi Germany was also that they're pedophiles. One of the causes for the Holocaust. Hitler said that about Jewish people too. So you can't just throw around the accusation with no evidence of anything just because you're uncomfortable.
Well, I'm damn near offended for the fact that you're trying to attribute me calling trans people pedophiles when they try to act like pedophiles. And you're comparing that to what happened in the Holocaust, and that's completely
Yeah, because when
insensitive
you
and
take a group and say they're acting like pedophiles, okay, then you are doing the same thing Hitler did to Jewish people. Yes, it's 100% true.
No, I didn't. I'm not
you are the
putting
same
people in
fabric. You're the
chambers
same
and
fabric.
gassing them. I'm not killing
Hey,
them.
you didn't
I'm
do it,
calling
but
out what it is.
but how do you think you set the ground to do that shit to a group of people? You lie about them and say shit like they're pedophiles and they're killing society
Why
with
am
their
I lying
virus
about
that's
them if that's what they're
infesting the
doing?
schools.
Why am I lying about them if that's
And
what
that's
they're
what they said
doing?
about the
That's how
Jews
they're
too.
acting.
That's what they said about the Jews, and also that's what the KKK said about like the Catholics,
Oh my
for example.
God, that is
You sound like, yes, you are using the same language as the KKK and Hitler.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely fucking ridiculous. You
Oh,
are an
no. I
absolute
compared it.
ignorant fucking piece of shit.
I compared it to black people, gay people. I compared it to every minority group that you want to slander, that anybody wants to slander.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you want to basically call me a racist for the fact I'm stating facts?
No. You're not racist. You're just stupid.
That's
it's not the same
basically what
thing.
you're calling it.
No.
If you want
You're
to
not
say
racist.
like it's the same
You're
thing
not
with every other
racist.
race, then that's
You're not
what you're
racist.
talking
You're
about.
stupid. No. Those are they're not just racists. I mentioned religions. I mentioned
stupid.
religions. Yes, you are.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
you
right,
are.
we're
You are
stupid.
very,
Yeah, okay, go fuck yourself, bro. You have a great night, and I hope this gets a clip so I can watch it later.
Crying. Ooh, he left. For my heart. All right, next caller, guys. Oh no, I don't want to talk about trans issues all night. Oh no. I feel like if someone's gonna come out and call people pedophiles, I feel like I can't even platform that shit, dude. It's not even a conversation. It's actually so brain dead and disgusting. Like, it's just like so sad. You're saying Hitler did this? I mean, yeah. Sorry, you're offended by it, but hello. Ooh, talk to me like that more, honey.
Call from.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, Jolah? Yeah, we talked a day or two ago, and specifically, yeah, you just said you don't want to talk about trans issues all night, but specifically to hit on that, I'm part of the LGBT community, and I feel like some of how you're painting it earlier.
All right, next caller.
Call.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. What do you want to chat about?
I just want to talk about the aversion to facts that people have nowadays.
Like what kind of facts?
I don't know, just like the person talking about trans people being, pedos, and I mean, just the fact that people act on vibes rather than, study topics.
Yeah, I mean, most people vote on vibes and everything. So if I want to like protect trans rights, it's not even worth it having a discussion about like how I should approach that conversation should just be like, well, I know a lot of people who just want rights, and the fact you want to slander them is bad, and I just want Americans to have as much freedom as possible, and we want to learn from each other and meet each other, and you just saying an entire group is pedophiles or whatever. Is a really dishonest way to try to frame them in a really negative light. So, like, just appeal to, freedoms. And it's hard, though, because even with, like, gay people and whoever else, even for parents who are homophobic, a lot of times it takes them having a gay kid before they're accepting of gay people, or their friend has a gay friend, or they're, like, I don't know, or their kids have a kid, now they're grandparents to a gay kid or a trans kid. So they have to have, like, first-hand experience to really understand it.
It seems like it comes down to conservatives basically want to protect their own, right? It's in-group versus out-group. Like, once it becomes the in-group, their children being gay or whatever, then it becomes a problem, right? Then it becomes a thing they care about. But when it's the out-group, whether it be illegals or minorities in any way, they don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah, and like immigration, too. Areas that have immigrants living there, people are pretty in favor of immigration. They love immigrants. They know immigrants. But people that don't live around immigrants in rural areas or suburbs, they hate immigrants for much of the same reason. Yeah.
Exactly. that's what conservatism comes down to, is if you're in my group or not. So how do you tell people that the people in the out group could be in the in group? I don't know, it just feels so difficult to get them past that. I don't know, it just feels like so much of the media and everything nowadays is just further entrenching that idea that no, the people in the out group are actually in the out group for a reason. And, you know, it's because they're pedos or they're fucking murderers or gang members or whatever. It just seems so hard to try and bring their ideas back to them just being people, you know?
Yeah, I guess in general, most people don't care that much at all about other people, and that could be good or bad. So like the voters that voted for Trump do not care about anything in the world. Like they're just waiting around in the water, being pushed in different directions. People that don't really know much about like politics at all voted for Trump more if you don't know much about it, if you don't pay attention. So many people are like that, and you can get their support based on like one thing, like whether it's immigration or taxes or healthcare. Maybe the economy went bad under a Republican, so you can see where things like right now, the economy doing bad is actually making people more pro-immigration, because Trump being popular makes people hate immigrants because Trump calls them all like rapists and violent criminals and animals.
Right.
So if Trump's not popular anymore, then when he says that, then people are like, hey, how can I trust this guy? He's ruining the economy. So like when he says this about immigrants, maybe I can't trust him. So
yeah, it does seem like it's eroding a little bit of his support. I mean, it just, I don't know. It seems like that happens, and then he gets voted in again. So, you know, it feels like Americans don't have enough of a memory to remember, you know, like Trump's last term. They only remember the last 6 months of Biden's term to inform their vote. And like you said, they vote on vibes, you know, not on facts or studies on how the economy's better under Democrats. They don't usually vote on things like that. How do we get that to be the mainstream argument, you know?
I don't know. People can be lied to really easily too. So like lying works really well as a politician. Right now, I would argue that politicians are incentivized to lie, because if you lie more, you're going to do better. Like look at George Santos. The fact he became a representative and then was able to go so long, and hiding the fact being a drag queen and being a financial fraudster, and I know he's going to jail now, but like you can just lie as a politician. And Trump found out that secret code, that cheat code. Like, oh, I could just lie. I could just say things and people will believe it.
And people actually love it.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's like an abusive relationship too. The first term went really bad at the end, big breakup. Biden was in there. He's that like calm relationship. You got bored, you broke up with Biden, went back to
not fun.
Ex. So it's like, yeah. Democrats are the strict mom. Republicans are the dad that lets you say slurs. So it's really fun to be a Republican. You're not going to get yelled at for your words. You don't have to think much. You don't have to be right about anything. You don't got to do much work when it comes to the government. A lot of Republicans do a lot of demanding jobs for sure. But with the government, they're completely ignorant assholes that don't pay attention to shit. They don't do any work to make themselves actually understand how the world works, which is really sad. And some of them are trying. But when they try, they find these podcasts and these terrible sources of information like Candace Owens or Thomas Sowell or another right-wing commentator or whoever that's going to teach them the exact wrong way to look at the world. So yeah, media. I think media ecosystems is 99% of the battle.
I mean, it digs them in so far that, you know, if you try and reach them with facts or even just the base empathy of other people, yeah, they're already filled with, you know, so much of that media ecosystem. It just, I don't know. It feels like without the media being held to account, like you said, with you know, George Soros being successful with lying, Trump being successful with lying, and people seem to love, like you said, the idea of not being held accountable for being shitty They don't want to be told no, to be told no, you can't be shitty.
Yeah. There's a reason they don't care about religion either. So like, religion is a really good way to frame them as well, because when it comes to mercy and the grace and like everything Jesus taught, they really afford those things only to people they feel they feel deserve it. So they'll craft how they follow religion based off however they want to live anyway, and then like make it self-fulfilling. I know a lot of liberals that follow religion, even like the meaning of Palm Sunday, for example. Like the point of Palm Sunday is like Jesus riding in with palms instead of weapons on a mule instead of a war horse. And the big brutal militarized forces are killed. Well, not killed, but like they're defeated by the love of Jesus and the lack of militarization. But the first thing Christians in America do is like, all right, let's get the tanks loaded. We need a military parade. We gotta go around. We gotta get all the illegals out of here. Even if they're peaceful and they were escaping a dictatorship, they're illegals. We could torture them now. It's just like it just becomes whatever they want to give to the world, and it's really sad to see that. And there's some great people I know that are just like stuck inside a dogma, or they just follow people who give them bad information too.
Well, I mean, it truly feels like if you actually adhere to the Bible, you would come out a very socialist person. And, if the Jesus from the Bible appeared in America right now, they'd be called a woke commie, and he'd be thrown, maybe deported to El Salvador. But that was a very specific and very targeted thing, right? Christianity in America was specifically targeted and transformed into this prosperity gospel of, if you're rich, you deserve it, and if you're poor, you deserve that too. If you get sick, you deserve that. And I mean, that is completely antithetical of, Christian teachings, but America has so far gone past that line of, caring about your neighbor and all that, But like you said, they can, you can take anything and force it into your worldview of, hating immigrants or anyone.
Yeah, I think in general, just making moral arguments, and I talk to religious people who are conservatives, and they really do not engage with the text at all. If they disagree with it, like if they're pro-military, for example, they'll ask like really dumb questions about the Bible, or even just about like abortion or gay marriage or whatever. Like Jesus never spoke on those issues for a reason. Like Jesus himself in the Bible, even through the recollection of the Bible, never spoke on those, never messaged on those. And if that was a message in the Bible, there's no reason to believe that Jesus cared more about persecuting gay people than he did about like caring for the poor radically and sacrificing. And you see how Americans feel about Pope Francis. Like Pope Francis lived probably the most altruistic life we've seen in the modern era of popes. And was super humble, dedicated to just helping people and sacrificing, and cared about even for Palestinians. He still advocated for them, and he lived in very humble conditions. He did not ask for a high throne.
Reactions right now are, we need to step that shit back. He went fucking way too far.
Yeah, but then Trump, we want the golden pedestal, right? We love the big golden White House. We'll build a casino over the Holy Land. We can support that now, but we'll be against the Pope who lived a very humble life because he was more pro-gay, so therefore we can blow up the entire world now. So,
right. Well, that's what it's all about, right? No idols. Well, except for Trump, and
Yeah. Thank you for the call. It's a really difficult situation, difficult social transition.
Yeah. Yeah. I just really, the one other thing I wanted to mention is this like misunderstanding of the due process that, not even a misunderstanding, it's just not understanding what due process means. I feel like a lot of MAGA voters have been recently kind of due process been put in front of them for the first time ever in their lives. A lot of people have never, encountered the justice system or interacted with the criminal justice system. They don't have any idea what due process even means, to the base point of like people saying they're bad and they're gang members, so that means we can deport them. Well, how do you find out they're gang members? Well, through a court of law.
If
due
they have
process.
tattoos and an accent and they're brown, that's what they say.
Oh, well, then obviously, yeah. Ship
That's
them
what ICE
off.
says. Yeah, and they're
Because
like, oh,
having
it's not a race
tattoos are
thing.
illegal.
It actually is a race thing.
Yeah, obviously.
We can't
but
say racism
they
anymore though,
don't
because
like
racism's
to
a
admit
woke
that.
word. We can't say woke things.
Right. But they say it's not because of skin color, because I don't know the real reason. There's a lot of, people in my Ohio state that have a lot of Nazi tattoos and SS tattoos. They're not getting deported for their hate groups, but certain other people are.
See, someone said, was there a due process when they walked across the border? Which is just so...
What?
Due process is a limit on government power. So if the government accuses you of a crime, they need to give you fair trial before they can put you to death or to prison or to do anything with you.
Like I was
That is
saying,
due process.
just
It makes no sense to say, was an immigrant given due process? Was an immigrant given due process crossing the border? Like, first off, you don't understand immigration laws, and second off, even if you did, you probably wouldn't care because you're racist. I don't know if you're probably, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, disregard for the Constitution is bonkers, and it seems out of left field unless you like zoom out and realize that most people don't understand anything about the Constitution, don't understand anything about how our government works, how our our semi-justice system works. They have no idea. When they're confronted with ideas like due process, they have to kind of regurgitate these.
It's like also like due process. Without due process, goodbye Second Amendment, goodbye First Amendment. There's no other rights without due process. That is the basis. That should be first. That is the basis of all rights. Without that, you have no second. You have nothing.
If they say you're bad and you go, no, I'm not, how do you prove it? Well, that's the point of due process.
You say I'm white in an American accent, then you're good.
Oh, then you're good. You can stay here. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I mean, if you can deny due process, I mean, this is said over and over again, but, if you can deny due process, then it doesn't apply to anyone. Because if you say a certain group, whether it be gang members or suspected murderers, or MS-13 gang members or illegal immigrants, any group, if you say that group does not deserve constitutional rights, does not deserve due process, well, you're one step away from the government deciding you are part of that group. And guess what? When they say, are you not? You go, no, I'm not. Well, you're already on a plane. So how do you defend yourself if you don't have due process?
Okay, here's this really stupid
you're
person.
Describing government to a 3-year-old.
Here's the stupid. Fred. Due process equals fairness in legal proceedings and government action. If you circumvent that process to come here illegally, you do not deserve due process to be deported. See, that's the thing, Fred. So, see, the issue with all this is like explaining asylum laws and explaining withholding laws and explaining like all these different protective statuses. They really don't care. Like they hear illegals and they accept it and they'll say, okay, we can kill this person like legally now because we don't care about them. They're scum. They're animals. But even in that situation, if someone's fleeing a dictatorship or if they're a tourist, for example, and you come into America, is it illegal to come to America for tourism if you're in Canada? Like, is it illegal to come to America if you're not on a visa? Are we going to say there's no due process for a tourist, or there's no due process for a refugee, a 14-year-old refugee that runs away from a Venezuelan dictatorship? It's just so stupid. Someone said asylum is a process. Yeah. Immigration courts have a lower standard, by the way. Immigration courts are much quicker. So if you're deportable, immigration court, you can remove people. There is a process, but they avoided that. And the big due process question is about the Alien Enemies Act and sending people to a torture camp in El Salvador to be beaten and killed for the rest of their lives. There's a higher standard of due process if you want to put someone in jail for the rest of their lives, or send them to a slave camp in El Salvador, or or execute them or do anything to them. There's a due process. There's a higher level of process if you want to enact violence upon that person using the government. And these people they claim they're libertarians too. And like this is such a basic thing that any libertarian-minded person would be so against.
Yeah, because they're not actually libertarian. They're conservatives in disguise, and conservatives actually only care about the in group, and they don't care about the out group. Like you said, That's the frustrating thing. I'm a very logical person, and I've learned that if you try to apply logic to, things like we're talking about, it doesn't matter. They will always find a way to weasel out. They will always find an exception or this or that to say, no, actually due process doesn't matter because someone said his tattoos are actually gang related, so he can be sent wherever the fuck.
Oh, they said he's a wife beater, child abuser, or yeah. They said that. The fact the government had to look for weeks and came up with these bullshit explanations for this, like it's just, oh man.
And that's the thing, is that it doesn't fucking matter if we even decide or we discover today that he's a mass murderer. You didn't get the due process, so it doesn't fucking matter. You're digging up dirt on a person you already sentenced. That doesn't make sense. The fact that they can shift the argument into, well, actually now we discovered we think for sure he's a murderer or a gang member. It doesn't fucking matter. The problem is basically convicting someone of nothing and sending them off to a country they're specifically not to be sent to over anything. I mean, imagine if they sent whoever's listening right now, if they sent you to El Salvador right now and you don't get a call, right? You get on a plane, you're in handcuffs and they send you to that prison. Your family is trying to call people. Who do they call? Well, you're not allowed to talk to a lawyer. You're not allowed to talk to any official. You're in a prison cell. The fact that people can't put themselves in the situation of these people, it goes back to the argument, like you said. They're just thinking of them as other people, right?
Or even
it
just
would
like,
never happen.
yeah. And thinking about like, I don't think people understand, like, I think about this story a lot with like Emmett Till in 1955, where, and that's not that long ago. And that person's grandparents are still alive today, or their parents or grandparents, the people that were around supporting Emmett Till being killed like he was, in 1955, or they're still around today, or their grandparents or their grandchildren are, or their kids are. And those people are voting Trump 100%. And like what happened to Emmett Till, if no one knows, Emmett Till was beaten in his face beyond the point of recognition, shot in the head. A fan blade was tied around his neck with barbed wire, a barbed wire noose tied around his neck, and he was thrown in a river. And like these people still exist today. The people that supported this still exist today. When
due
the country,
process, right?
Yeah. There's no due process. Yeah, because and black people all the time would be accused of just raping women when they never even talked to them. White women, if they even talk to a white woman, they'll be put to death. So we need due process for that reason. There's people on death row because they're accused of the shit like that, of false accusations. And men that got off it, some men that died innocent. But like that's a white privilege thing. For 100% freaking sure white privilege. Like I hate using the terms of like white privilege. But if people are at the point where they think that is not a big deal, or it's not a big deal anymore, they are beyond brain dead. They are the most brain dead person ever. They got to be put back in. Like they have to ride. I can't say. I was gonna say really bad things. Okay. Like it's just so. It's just so crazy.
The privilege of white people is bonkers. I mean, that is to never pick up a book ever. I mean, if you read anything about this country, I mean, we are the most glaring example of white privilege. I mean, look at, the KKK being pardoned for being acquitted of crimes in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's a horrific horrific incident. I mean, there's countless incidents of, like you said, Emmett Till.
Someone said this had nothing to do with illegal immigration. Yes, it does, because I'll tell you what, white people in America argued that black people did not deserve due process because they said they are gang members and criminals and they are animals and they don't deserve the same rights. Due process is the same exact conversation here because Americans did not consider black people to be, you realize the amendments we passed to make black people citizens in America and to give black people the right to vote.
Like you have to understand.
That it's due process. That's why we say the 5th and 14th Amendment guarantee due process, because that's all involved, you idiot, you brain dead moron. Look up the 5th and 14th Amendment and see how they correlate, you dumbass. Holy shit. How can you be so stupid and still breathe? How do you even manually breathe? I hope you have a polio machine at home because your dumbass is gonna forget to breathe one day and die. Holy shit, you're stupid.
I would say read a history book actually, but download an audio book so you can listen to it, so you can actually understand it. God damn, dude. It's, I don't know. You have people in office saying that we're not a racist country. We never have been. Well, I appreciate what you're doing, trying to talk sense into people. I don't know if you have any success, but
yeah, there is some success.
You. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, I mean, some people are open to conversation, right? I mean, you get a lot of people who aren't, but a lot of people are. And if you can find someone who has, ever said in their life, you know what, I think I was wrong about that. If you can find those people, then you can do a good thing. So.
Yeah, and those people are not going to really comment or call in. There's some people that just like watch and don't really say much, and that's a good thing. But the media is such a big deal now, and me doing the show, I have had people call in if they're truck drivers or whatever, and they listen to podcasts the entire time they're driving trucks. So a lot of these guys believe some dumb shit because they listen to Joe Rogan and all these guys on the podcast. So they don't have someone to listen to, and the only liberals that they can talk or listen to are going to be like saying microaggression every other second, or they're going to be like socialists that don't want to vote ever. So it's just like a very tough media
right
too.
And I mean, yeah, those aren't the people that are like reading articles or reading, books. So forget about it. And that's a huge voting block in America. And yeah, I just don't understand how. I don't know how we reach that, heart of America that isn't interested in reading, isn't interested in like digging through studies and finding the truth of things. It's like the appealing to emotion, the Republican Party in America has fucking perfected over the past 50 years. They have perfected how to nail down the grievances of conservatives in America.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I have to move on.
The Democrats
to
are just
debater.
really dragging behind.
Well, yeah. Well, Democrats are very weak and ineffective, and they're afraid to message, and they let Republicans dominate everything. So we need a strong microphone, a strong person with a microphone to influence people. And Democrats need confidence, but they suck right now. Donald Trump would probably have a 30% approval rating if Democrats were not dog shit. Yeah, I appreciate the comment.
I know. Yeah, but there's a big foundation of media that has been built, I think, decades before kind of liberals and more leftists started to build that, right? Since Reagan, even before, right? This whole media organization, essentially from like Nixon getting in trouble and then realizing, hey, if we make a media apparatus that can twist this, we'll never have a Nixon or a Watergate problem ever again. And they were right. And I don't know if the Democrats have enough time to catch up to that.
Nope, I don't think so. Donald Trump needs to blow up the country. But yeah, I hope it doesn't. I hope we don't die. But yeah, thank you for calling. I hope you have a great night, man. Thank you. I'm sleepy. I have to drive like 9 hours tomorrow, like actually 9 hours straight. So I might need to go to bed. I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry that was a slower convo. Like I said, I'll be traveling. I'll be back on Sunday. I don't know if I could do any calls right now. I kind of have to go to bed. I'm sorry for the letdown. I still wanted to stream tonight. I'm sorry. I still wanted to stream tonight to get on here and say what's up. Yeah, it's like a wedding. There are a lot of truckers that don't like Trump. No, I mean like a lot of people that work jobs like that listen to podcasts, and I mean truckers in general. I'm pretty sure most of them voted for Trump, though. I mean, there's some of every group. There's some KKK members that voted Democrat. I'm sure. That's a bad example. But you know what I mean. Some black people voted Trump, but black people in general are, not gonna like Trump that much. Thank you guys. There's another Kate. Thank you, Lo. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Dash. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, like I said, I apologize. This was not a very entertaining stream. But yeah, hope you guys have a great few days. I'll be back on Sunday. I'll continue clipping up my videos, hopefully, and putting them on my YouTube channel. My videos don't get many views, but we're gonna try to keep posting them consistently because I have to build an audience for video viewership, because it's much different from the video viewership is a much different audience from this, you know, from YouTube Shorts live streams. Okay, well, join Discord. It's on in all my video descriptions. In any video description I have, all my video descriptions, you can find my Discord. Join Discord. We can chat on there. I'll be in there for like 20 minutes, half hour after this. So if you are someone that was trying to call in, if you're trying to call in, find my Discord in the description. You can go in there. We have mods that like to talk about this too. You know what, Fred? And in fact, I can call you a bunch of names and not accept your call. I can actually do that. Yeah, I do have the ability to do that. The only way you can guarantee a phone call is if you donate $10 with your name and your phone number to my Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, or if someone pays for you to call in first. But I answer the phones randomly when I feel like answering phones. And right now I'm going to bed. So if you want to talk to someone about this, then you have to hop on Discord, brother. Brother. Okay. Let me see here. Great. I can, in fact, do that. Little do you know. Appreciate you guys. Next time I'll stream longer. I'll do a longer stream to make up for it. Thank you for all the donations. If you want to donate to the channel, Jolah Politics, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I do appreciate all the messages I get when I'm offline too. I'll be going there throughout the day, and I'll see a little. Thank you, Rita. Aw. I was just thinking about Rita. I saw Rita donated. Thank you, Rita. I was just gonna mention you. Rita donated $25 for the daily goal. Thank you, Rita. It says get something nice to eat, I think. Get something good to eat. Thank you so much. I was gonna say I saw you donated during the day when I was not streaming the one day, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Corey, did he donate somewhere? Wait, did you? If you donated to Venmo, I don't see those all the time. Oh, Rebecca for $10. Coffee for you. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. For $10 super chat. $2 from Big Man. Keep up the good work of educating the ignorance. Thank you, Big Man. Where did you donate at, Corey? Did I mention your donation? I thought I mentioned your donation. Did you donate on... I guarantee him. No, I did mention it. I know I mentioned it. I promise I mentioned it. You're gaslighting me. Corey is gaslighting me. I mentioned if Joe Biden was president, India never would have attacked Pakistan. Didn't I mention that one? Thank you for... Yeah, I said thank you for... Yeah, Corey. Yeah, Corey. Fandread, I'm not... Objectophilia? Objectophilia. Can I put this on Facebook? I'm done now. But you could put things on Facebook if you want. Sunday I'll be back. I'll be back Sunday. I have to travel the next few days, but you can put my videos on Facebook if you want. I might unlist some of my live streams sometimes, every now and then though, because I want to make sure I have some content to put out there. It depends if I have a good night or not. It depends. I'll probably do some planning for the next few days. Maybe for a call. JK, am I still donating anyway? Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, usually like last night was really good. The night before last night was really good. I mean, we spiked the viewership at one point tonight too. But I just don't have the energy or time to keep on going. And I apologize again. Thank you guys for all the support. Join Discord again. Join Discord. I hop in there every now and then. Join Discord. When are you debating next? It'll be Sunday night. Sunday night. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Rita. Everyone. Stay safe, don't die. Ha! I'm going to do a game where I see what I can get a high score for how long I can keep my eyes closed when driving. My high score is 10 seconds while driving. Going 35 miles per hour. Kept my eyes closed. It's a nice high to, close my eyes like, I love putting other people in danger for my own joyride. I'm kidding. Sunday. Are you Sunday? Are you Sunday? Am I Sunday? What? No, I'm not. Sunday. I'm cloudy day. Okay, I don't know. Stay away from the what? From the bouquet. Oh yeah, I forgot that's a thing. That's funny. That's hilarious. The bouquet. I don't even know how to talk. Is that how you say it? You said that last night? LOL. Last night was good. Today is not good. Wait. Today sucked a little bit. I just watched a lot of videos today. Whatever. Alright guys, again, thank you. Have a great night. See you guys on Sunday. Can I activate you? What is this?
I just wanted to say thank you for all you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if I did anything.
Hi, Jolah. So I just wanted to point something out because the argument's often made. You miss it. A lot of people miss it. But there is this argument of like, well, you know, if we let trans people in bathrooms, well, guess what? What if a guy just wants to pretend to be trans and go in there and molest our wives and children and shit? You know, that's why we got to ban trans people. And it's like, that's completely irrelevant then, because it's like, well, what if someone pretends to be a cop, or what if someone pretends to be a doctor? That's all illegal. It's all already illegal to pretend to be someone or something.
Okay, I appreciate this feedback on this voicemail. I'm trying to think. So, well, people already like fake doctors. They love fake doctors. The people that don't like trans people definitely love fake doctors like Dr. Oz and RFK, so that's a hard one. Cops, I could see. I know this message is for the more moderate person. So cops, I could see. You could pretend to be a cop. You could pretend to be anything. And also just in general, it's illegal to assault someone, obviously. It's also hard, too, because I know the point they're making is they don't like trans people, and they think trans people are not real. So logical arguments might not make sense for some people, but I do agree that's an argument that can appeal to people who are watching, like the third person. That's not going to be anti-trans or whatever, but they might be skeptical. I do like that argument.
It's all already illegal to pretend to be someone or something you're not in order to deprive or defame or cause harm to someone else. You know, that's illegal already. So, and on top of that, most importantly, they're not trans then. If they're doing that and pretending to be trans, as you're stating in your argument, then they're not actually trans. They're just a terrible piece of shit person. They're a criminal, and they should be arrested and held to account of a law.
Also, yeah. There's not a force field preventing men from just going in the bathroom to assault women. They do it. I mean, men do that already. So it's not like they need to dress up as something to go do that.
If they were to literally be lying about who they are or pretending to be a marginalized group in order to commit a crime against other people.
Hey, I appreciate the long voicemail too. I appreciate the 2 minutes. I don't know if you're still in chat.
Marginalized group in order to commit a crime against other people, including women and children. So that said, it's like, it's a moot point because they're not even trans. So there's no reason to ban trans people, even your argument, because they're not the ones actually doing anything. They're not even involved in your, your example. It's a criminal. It's someone who is pretending, someone who is lying, etc. So that's something I feel like is often missed in that argument because it's just so stupid, such a stupid argument. All right, have a good day and enjoy that coffee.
Oh, did you give me the coffee? Thank you. I hope they're still here. I hope they heard that. I'll make sure I send them a text message. All right. I wanted to listen to that really quick. Thank you to that person. Yeah, have a good night, guys. That's cheating, Joe Blow. Nah, it's not cheating, Joe Blow. Nothing's cheating. It's called, you know what? I wonder how many I could do before getting... I'm gonna do 50. I'm gonna do 5,000 shorts streams and take over. I might get my second channel and do that, low-key. Get my second channel, just like start an infinite number of streams and see if I can if I can grow a channel off it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, that's a good point too. Like, why not just like dress in drag, or like the white girls? What was that girl? That movie called what's that movie called? White Chicks. The White Chicks movie. Why not just get an outfit then if you want to like pretend to be something to go into a bathroom? Like, it's just stupid. All right, have a good night, guys. See you guys Sunday. Thank you, Lori.